I love you.
I love you too.
And that's a succinct version of out of chaos, order. Yeah, a little love. So one of the things that has happened to me in the last week, since I haven't been here, is that I have been privileged to be in Montana for a retreat. A place called Big Sky, 7,500 feet up, where they keep on telling you don't forget to drink water. And when you walk in, you're going, how come I'm having trouble breathing? Then you remember it's because you're 75 feet up, 100 feet up. But the other thing that came out of being on a retreat in Montana was I got a chance to be in Yellowstone for a day. How many people here have been to Yellowstone? So those few of you know the beauty of the park. It's an amazing, amazing place. Now Yellowstone was created out of chaos. And now it is a place of order. However, order is dynamic. And the reason it is dynamic is because at any time it can become chaotic again. You see, Yellowstone is what they call a super volcano. There's only a couple of them in the world. And it is erupted 3 times, 2 million years ago, 1.2 million years ago, and the last time 640,000 years ago. But it is active enough that that is why you have the geysers and you have the mud pots and you have all these other little things going on bubbling up with a lot of heat in the bubbles because it's still active. The steam is the escape. It's what brings the world back into living in that dynamic order. And when you go there and you see the grasslands and you see the animals and you stand on it and you think this could erupt anytime, there'll probably be a chance that you would know when it's going to erupt. But you can stand there and you can think, I am standing on something that could erupt any time. You get the real feeling of the order in the universe and how it has been established in this amazing experience that God has created. So eruptions happen because there is pressure that builds up. And that's often how chaos shows up in our life, right? It just, everything seems to be going along systematically. And then there are tensions here and stressors there, and before you know it, boom, there's chaos. Well, let's look at the definition of chaos. According to Webster, the definition is supreme chance. You're just in that place of supreme chance. Nothing seems to be in any type of order. It just is. According to the Revealing Word, which is written by Unity's co-founder, Charles Fillmore, chaos is disorder, confusing, discord, and chaos in body and affairs results from chaos in mind a product of sense mind. So when we're thinking in our outer level and working from our outer level, when we have not taken an opportunity to be in conscious awareness of the truth of our divinity, things may become a little chaotic. And when things become a little chaotic, they generally will bring about a little bit of what we would call crisis. And crisis is a situation, as we know, that allows us an opportunity to look at things differently and create differently, create a system that would work for us. In the Revealing Word, Charles Fillmore says that order is the idea of adjustment. And as this is established in man's thought, his mind and affairs will be one with universal harmony. Harmony and love go together. Harmony and love go together. You see, when we're in love, everything is harmonious. And when we are in harmony, we create something that is greater. So one of the things that I want to talk about today is seeing as though there is nothing to fix. You know, I mentioned Byron Katie's work, Loving What Is. There is nothing to fix. You see, when we go into that greater mind, that one mind, that God mind, everything's perfect. Everything's good. There's nothing to fix. That's where we get direction to make things better. When we're in our personal mind, when we're acting from our personal mind, things will be good for a while. But then we'll find something to fix, do we not? This isn't right about this situation. This isn't right about that situation. We wish this person could do this differently. We wish that I could do this differently. There's nothing to fix. It's all perfect the way it is. When we reach that point of loving what is and accepting what it is, that's when we're in that place where we're attuned to our God mind and we create something better. There's nothing stagnant. It's all dynamic. Then there's the idea of building from a place of harmony. The harmony of the gifts that God has given us. Each has a different gift. And when we use it in harmony, when we say this is your gift perhaps is leadership, and we allow you to lead, then that leadership will tell me whose gift might be clerical, what to do in the clerical space so it would fit. We often find that in families, let's take the family, mom and dad and a couple kids, right? We'll put it together. We often find in a family that there are many different gifts, even though we think, well, I'm just like mom or I'm just like dad. Okay, well, we know the children don't have it all yet. But what kids have is the energy. So if we can direct the energy for the kids, or doesn't it make it easier for us adults to let them do some of the grunt stuff? But the kids have to be willing to let the parents direct so everybody can get it together. So that's building from a place of harmony. Each know that we're having different gifts, and what gift is ours to express at the moment. Some of us are musicians, some of us are speakers, some of us are teachers, some of us prophesize, as according to what Paul says in the Bible. Some of us minister. We each have different gifts, and when we work our gifts together, we create something greater. And that is bringing the order out of the chaos. If we all wanted to do everything, nothing gets done. Nothing gets done. So, looking at building in that place where it's chaos, if we see chaos, if we're in a place where we're saying that chaos exists, then we could say that is without God. And if we're seeing order, whether it looks like it's order or not, how many out there are artists, and your way of getting your art expressed, everything else around you may look like chaos to somebody who's not the artist, who doesn't understand how you lay things out so that you can get that done. If there's order in the process, then that is with God. Chaos without God, order with God. Notice when we look at the book of Genesis, and God is creating in the book of Genesis, it is out of the void. It's not out of chaos. It's out of the void. It's out of that space where from nothing something comes forth. It's seeming nothing to us. It is that substance of God that the expression comes forth from. When we are in that place where we're loving what is, we know that there's nothing to fix. That we're expressing our gifts, not trying to express somebody else's gifts. Then we're in that place where we can support each other in the higher connection, so that we are creating that something better that we are looking for. That something better that feeds not only our self, but every other individual. I always look at, is it a win? Is it a win-win? Or can we make it a win-win-win? And when we can make it a win-win-win, we know we're in God and we know that we are in order. So, I want to tell you some of the gifts that I got out of going on retreat. Retreat is such a wonderful thing. Number one, the first gift I got out of going on retreat was to spend a lot of time in personal prayer. What happens when you go into personal prayer and you ask God, show me what I need to know. Heal what needs to heal and reveal what needs to be revealed. Well, I'll tell you, for me, it's never an easy journey. When I say that, it's like, what? All my defenses go up. I find all these things I don't like about myself. I find all these ways that I put judgment on what's going on. And I don't see things in a perspective that is healthy for me. And so I have to spend a little bit more time in prayer. So one-day retreats are good, 2-day retreats are better, whole-week retreats, really good. Because what happens after the first couple days, and in those couple days you quit trying to create something and you just allow something to create in you, you start to see yourself differently. You start to see yourself not separate, not in your personality, but in your individuality and connected to each and every individual. So the first couple days of this retreat, I was in that place of feeling alone and separate, vulnerable in a hostile world, even though I wasn't in a hostile world, although it did snow in Montana, that was hostile. But feeling like I'd gone out there by myself, and I was by myself, and I really wanted connection. I had to let go. I had to realize that it was just okay to be with me, because being with me was really being with Spirit. And by golly, once I got that in my brain and my psyche and my cells, amazing thing happened. There were people all over the place. And there were people who I had judged the first couple days. I saw in a totally different light. You know, some of those people I didn't really like so much the first couple days. But I woke up, as we do in Spirit. I woke up, and I found that each and every individual there was somebody to love. And I found that each and every individual there was sending me loving signals. It's amazing. Because that love and harmony. So, going back to the revealing word, Charles Fillmore says that this is how we lose that divine harmony. When the will is centered in the external and loses sight of the ideal, it breaks the connection between spirit and manifestation, and thus man loses a harmony that is under divine law. So when I was in that place, I had lost harmony. I was not feeling connected. Now it can be restored through knowledge of the truth of being. Man is restored to divine harmony. He must know the truth about himself and God so it in all his thinking and not be misled by appearances. See, I was in appearances. I had to be in that place that I was feeling totally accepted by God. As we all are, remembering that we are created by God as God's beloved. And in that place, if God accepts us, who are we not to? There is nothing and no one against us. And so once we reach that place, we're back in that place of harmony. We can move forward, be in the truth of who we are, and not that appearance of who we think we are. So how does order, one of our 12 powers, one of our 12 Christ powers, really express in our life? In the book written by Winifred Wilkinson Housman called Discover Your God-Given Potential, she talks about order in these 7 steps. And these 7 steps come from this area of, first we get order at this level, and then we'll get it at this level, and then we get it at this level. Now we'll be living in this as we are because we're human beings, not totally spiritual understanding yet. We'll be going back and forth between these levels, but we'll see a time when we're in these levels. You know, World Day of Prayer each year has a theme. So who can tell me what the theme was this year? Charlotte.
Discover the power within. Unleash your divine potential.
Divine potential. This is your God-given potential. This is your price level. This is who we've come here to be. And this is why we're in this room right now trying to figure out how we can be more of this. So order is expressed this way. In the first step, she defines as orientation. Through learning God's laws, you completely change your outlook. You establish a new pattern of thought, new attitudes, and a whole new outlook on life. That was me by day 3 of the retreat. Consent. Mental acceptance of spiritual world based on spiritual law is not enough. Mental acceptance is not enough. You should also accept the idea emotionally. You have to move from your head to your heart. You have to understand it from a deeper level. Cooperation. Apply the principles you now have accepted mentally and emotionally. Put them to work as part of your daily experience. Cooperate or work with the spiritual laws as you understand them. You know, we have been given choice. What a wonderful thing, free will, choice. It allows us to experiment, not just with what goes on out here in the outer. It allows us to experiment with what spirit means to us, with a deeper understanding of God. Harmony cannot be established in mind, body, and affairs except through cooperation with divine principle. Order must be based on harmony, or it is not order at all. 5, order. Order based on enlightened cooperation with divine law and divine guidance brings about right adjustment and harmonious growth. You are progressing under God's direction in a divinely unfolding way, continually bringing forth more and more of your divine potential. You know, often when we're trying to learn a skill, we try to learn that skill from the outer. We practice and we practice and we practice. And what often happens is we tell ourselves, we can't get this. We're not good enough. We're not going to ever get it. Maybe I should just find something else. Maybe this isn't my skill at all. But if we raise it to a higher level, if we say to ourselves, if this is my desire to learn this skill that is God-given, it must mean it is mine to learn. I must be getting something out of this. I must enjoy it even if I'm not going to be a master at it. Some of us will never be masters at everything. We aren't meant to be masters at that, but what we are meant to be masters at is masters of love. Masters of love. So, that divine potential within us will take us there. I sang in the choir while I was out there. We did a short choir. And I sang in the choir out there, and I can't wait till we can get the choir going back here again, until we get a music director who will do that. So if anybody knows anybody, just have them singing. But anyway, while I was in this choir, and I was thinking, and I was singing in the choir, and I think so often, they ask people to do solos when they do those choirs, and there's some people who are really gifted in singing, and they'll go like this, and I'll go, not me, not me, because I have not felt that gift. But I love to sing. I know I don't have a bad singing voice, and so what I heard while I was sitting there was, you can always take singing lessons. You see, we have things we can do when we're open up to that divine potential in us. Many people would take on something new in their 80s and their 90s because they are guided to do that. Everybody's gift does not express when they're 15. Freedom. The only true freedom is the freedom that comes through spiritual awakening. Spirit working in and through your mind, body, and affairs frees you to experience fulfillment. Freedom. Many of you know that dance is one of the things I absolutely love, and I've been schooled in ballet and tap, and of course being schooled in ballet, you're schooled in muscles and holding things tight and moving individually, and it's kind of a strong, steady, powerful type of a thing. And I was out there and I learned something called Tai Chi Cha, not Tai Chi Chuan, but Tai Chi Cha. I didn't learn the whole thing, I just got exposed to it because we did it every morning. But what was amazing was that the woman who was teaching it was saying, it's about being soft, which was totally a flip for this ballerina in me. To learn that the movement was to be soft, including keeping your knees soft through the whole time. And so that was seeing it from that different idea, and it gave me such freedom. Because when you stand like this with every muscle tight, it doesn't feel free at all. But when you're loose and you're soft, oh, it's free. And finally, you can get to that place in order of continuity. There is no need to stop to make decisions or consciously cooperate with the divine law. Rather, there is such a realization of oneness with God's order that you instinctively make right decisions and move forward in a continuous realization of harmony. Jesus Christ had it. I'm working on it. I'm working on the experience. I'm working on the idea that as long as I experiment and I continue to express, and I continue to go back into that higher self of me, I can move out of anything that starts to look chaotic and come into divine order. So for you this week, not only is my challenge to see the things that seem to be chaotic for you, so that you can find a way to move back into divine order, but to see the benefit and accepting that challenge, knowing that there is nothing but greatness in you to be expressed. God bless you.